morning, everyone, and thank you for coming out this morning. As my colleagues and I stepped off the plane yesterday afternoon, we came to the realization that we're not in Vegas anymore, as it was just bone-chillingly cold. Before I get started, I want to introduce you guys to my colleagues that have come here, and you're going to hear from them shortly, and you're going to hear the tremendous role that they play inside our organization, which has come to be a great success. From the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Assistant Sheriff Todd Fasullo, and also from the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Lieutenant Chris Petco, and you're going to hear from them in a minute. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to share a little bit about what our organization does and why we do what we do, and that role that law enforcement play, which is so key into our success. What Hope for Prisons is we provide reentry services to men, women, and young adults that are coming out of every arena of our judicial system. Some of the men and women we work with are coming home from state or federal prisons, city or county jails, drug rehabilitation centers, halfway houses, transitional facilities, and the likes. And what we do is we provide the supportive services to help the men and women return into our community, not only get acclimated back into workplaces, but we make sure there are mechanisms in place that once they get inside the workplace, they're going to be afforded opportunities to thrive and to grow and be able to succeed. We address the needs for them to get acclimated back into their family, which has been a missed mark of reentry since forever. It seems like the community has never paid the particularly close attention to the men and women returning back home to their family, to wives and to husbands, and particularly to their children. So we want to make sure there are mechanisms in place to help with that family reunification piece, because everyone in this room can attest to the fact that if the family life is not right, then everything else in the world has a tendency to fall apart. And then on the back end of the process, because there's a long-term 18-month journey where we walk with them, we want to do everything we can to ensure that we're helping produce stand-up leaders in the community with a strong emphasis on them never, ever, ever reoffending again. So as you guys know, Hope for Prisons was birthed out of my own personal experiences. I was that guy that was coming in and out of the system, at a very early age. Different juvenile systems in the state of New York, different prison systems in the state of New York. I did time in a prison in the state of Nevada, and then I got stretched out in a maximum security United States federal penitentiary behind 50-foot walls. So coming in and out of the system all that time, I made a lot of mistakes trying to get life right. I violated, go back to prison. But there came a time in life where God taught me very, very valuable lessons from all those mistakes that I made. And those lessons that I learned, it helped me to live life on a whole nother level. So what my passion in life is right now, the reason why I know that God wakes me up every morning, is to help the other men and women who are facing those same challenges I once had to face, to eliminate any barriers they may have, and to help to escort them up to the next level of life. So I founded Hope for Prisons back in 2009 when I came home from prison. And since that time, we had a chance to work with over 1,600 men and women who have been through our process. And of those 1,600 individuals we had an opportunity to work with, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas has determined that an unprecedented 70+% successful in gaining full-time employment, and only 6% return back to the system. Thank you. So, everything that we do, it starts out with what we call a very intensive pre-vocational leadership workshop. And this is before the men and women ever put their boots on the ground to start trying to get acclimated back into their home, the workplace, and community. We take them through this process to provide them with tools. And one of the reasons why we do this is that, and I can speak from my own personal experience, is that the majority of people, they really do want to change. They have no idea how to do it. And for so long, we've been expecting people coming home from the prison system to go back and be a productive member inside the workplace. Well, this kid may have never worked a day before in his life. Or we expected men to take their rightful positions in the home as a man, as a husband, as a father, and have no reference points of what a real father, a real man look like. Same thing go with the women. So what it is that we do is we provide them with these tools, but then we come alongside them to help them to walk out all those incredible things that they learn. So we teach them things like the importance of the winning attitude about your past, that attitude about your present condition, and how to maintain that winning attitude is going to carry you into a successful future. We talk about how to go above and beyond the call of duty in the home, in the workplace, in the community. training on effective communications and how to understand different personality types that you're going to interact with in the home, in the workplace, in the community. We train on things very intensively, like the importance of forgiveness and when and how to apologize, the conflict resolution, banking, budgeting, and a lot of leadership. Teaching individuals, number one, how to lead yourself. How do you get the results that you want to get out of life? How to be a leader in the family, and then show them what it likes to be a leader in the community. And at the end of that process, there's a really, really big graduation, and we invite everybody in the community out, which is why it's so refreshing to see all the different stakeholders right here in this local community, because we could not have the success that we have if we did not have the entire community involved. So we have all our state legislators out, we have the district attorneys out, judges, police departments, employers and other stakeholders, corrections, parole and probation, which is key in that partnership to helping us be successful. We have judges that come out, and at the end of that graduation, that Supreme Court justice or that judge is sitting on the bench, he puts his robe on, and he has the folks returning back to the community to raise their right hand and take an oath that they're going to do everything they can from that moment forward to be stand-up, productive leaders in the community. Now, at that graduation ceremony, the key to our success, and any success when you're dealing with people in reentry, on graduation day, they don't graduate from a program. They graduate up into the next level of our commitment to be with them over the next 18 months to help them to navigate whatever challenges they're going to be facing during that reintegration process. See, it's not just enough for us to be able to put someone inside a class in a reentry program and teach them all these incredible things. And then at the end of that process, we launch them out in our community and say, okay, well, go resolve conflict. Go and effectively communicate with people. Go and find a job. No, we have an obligation to stay with them now for the next 18 months and help them to navigate the challenges that they're going to be facing during that reintegration process. We do that through a very comprehensive mentoring and case management program where we have trained up well over 270 men and women from our community that serve as mentors. These are pastors and leaders from churches across Southern Nevada, leaders in other houses of faith. These are some business owners and business leaders in our community. These are the school teachers from the school district to the professors over at UNLV, right down to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, who has given us an army of volunteer police officers to serve as mentors. And I smile every time I say that and every time I go across the country and talk about it, because never before in the history of reentry, nowhere on this planet has law enforcement gotten involved to this magnitude and mentoring and training people that are coming out of the system. And to be quite honest with you, it is causing such a huge impact on both sides of the equation. Because if you think about it, our goal is to change the face of reentry. And the only way we're going to be able to change the face of reentry is to be able to create a society of people that come home from the prison system. And not only do they never reoffend again, they begin to live levels of life that most people only dream of. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to help individuals understand that, listen, there's rules and regulations inside the community. There's boundaries in the community we cannot cross. And where we have found that success is that if we can have them to develop a relationship with those who are upholding the law, then they're more likely to stay within the parameters of the law. You know, it gives me an honor and a privilege to be partnering with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. You know, I said on one of my social media things, and I shared with my wife that, you know, I got on the plane last night with the sheriff, yesterday with the sheriff, and with a lieutenant who has SWAT team experience and things like that. And it really made me smile because the last time I was on a plane with law enforcement, I was shackled by my hands and my feet. It is just evidence that, you know, we serve a God that can truly turn your life around. So as Bob was saying to you, that law enforcement partnership is just so critical and so key. And we have an opportunity to truly bridge the gap between folks coming out of the system and our law enforcement. And I don't have time to unpack the incredible stories of how the law enforcement officers in their capacity of mentoring, and some of them are mentoring the same gang-affiliated person that they arrested 16, 17 years ago. And now walking with that individual, and that person who is that ex-gang leader, and he's developed that relationship with law enforcement, then he now becomes the boots on the ground to go back into those communities so he can change the perceptions to help people in the community view law enforcement from a whole different perspective. And as the sheriff is going to share with you, this type of relationship has also pushed the envelope on their side, getting police officers to think outside of the box.